shit's fire.
This is a fucking banger.
Ladies and gentlemen, cats, snakes, dogs, chicken, elderly people, workers and twerkers.
Damn.
Turn it up.
I don't give a fuck. It's the Ruckus. What the fuck you expect?
I body slapped my wife, my nigga.
This is Kraken, aka Joshua. As one of the members of this podcast, I really wanted to kind of take the time and highlight people in the community, artists, scholars, people's friends. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago we had Mike's friend join us as well. So we want to make sure that we open it up to the people around us and dive deeper into their life experiences and understand what kind of makes them move, what motivates them. And to be frank, I mean, some people are just so talented that you just want to know more about what they get that inspiration from, right? So tonight, NPR, aka Peter, aka Nota G, joins us, right? A Dominican American artist.
Hey, aplausos. It's lit.
Who does this singing, rapping thing that just it just blew my mind. All right, I as soon as I heard it, I was like, I fuck with this, right? So I really wanted to understand like what motivated this gentleman to do the work that he does, and trying to get him out there so he could do this for a living, right? So he could pay his bills while doing this art. Nota, hey, you there?
Yes, sir. It's good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for joining us tonight. So your new single came out, Nudo, right?
Yes,
AKA
sir.
Not, right?
Yep.
How's it going so far, the rollout?
Better than what I expected.
Right. What's better about it? What are the indicators that's telling you that, okay, I got something here?
Usually, I'm an indie artist. I'm not, a big, enormous artist that when they drop, everybody's on it. This drop was a little different. Like I dropped something last year and it was like, oh, okay, yeah, you get the usuals. And it was
What was the name of that track last
That was Naufrago.
Okay, yeah.
That was
my introduction to you, and that shit was dope. And I was
yeah.
Who's Peter in there? I think it's like 3 different people in there, and I think you're the first one.
Yeah, that was a different track because the first I have 2 albums out, technically 3 with the live album, but they were both strictly hip hop. It was strictly hip hop stuff, and
okay,
in that genre. Naufrago was different, and it was 3 people. It was just different for me. And the reception of that one was like, oh, okay, no, that's cool. But when I dropped this one, it was like, oh, people are actually replaying this. Like they're replaying it and they're posting it and they're sending me messages like, yo, I'm replaying this. I like this. This is my shit. I met people. The song came out. What was it? Sunday I put it out. I chilled. Was it Monday that I went to the studio? It might have been Monday or Tuesday. But one of those days, my boy that plays baseball, he came through. And we were all chilling, and I think my cousin played the track, and he knew all the fucking words to it already.
Oh,
like this is somebody I'm talking about, somebody that I haven't, spoken to in mad long, and he knew almost all the words to it.
Right. So how would you describe Nudo being different from your previous music? Or is it an extension of what you've done before?
Yeah, this is more of an extension of what I've done before. Right. I've always tried to be a little more melodic. I love one of the main things that I focus on besides the lyrics is flows and, playing around with different ways of saying stuff and things like that. And I think this is just like a culmination of other singy, rappy stuff that I've done before.
Right. So then how would you describe your music, and especially compared to what's out there now? I guess, in what ways are you similar, and then in what ways are you kind of going through new territory and pushing the envelope a little bit?
In what ways I'm similar? I mean, it's still rapping.
Right.
It's still focusing on lyrics and stuff like that. So that's there, I guess. But I think something that we're doing a little different is that we're trying to mix. Well, at least now, the last two albums, like I said, we were just focused on let's get this cohesive workout. Now we're focusing on like, yo, we can take what we did before with the lyrics and the attention to detail with the production and all that. We can take that and we can make more commercial sounding music and still have it have the message that we had before. And that's kind of where we're at now. Like we're like Naufrago was a dance hall track.
Yeah.
Nudo is I don't even know where to put it because it's in Spanish, but technically it'd be an R&B.
Right. So I mean, one thing. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. Yeah, that's pretty much done on that one. Yeah.
One thing that struck me on all the tracks is not only your versatility, right? Your ability to kind of have this these melodies and also rap, but also the production, right? Can you speak more on who's producing this? Who's making up these beats? Is it a team? Is it one or two guys?
It's I wouldn't say a team because they're very loose, like they're very independent, and most of them don't even know each other. But we do have a group of people that we always seem to fall back on. The first album consisted of Gas Lab. He's a producer from Argentina. Fucking super dope, super cool guy.
I was listening to his album like 2 years ago. He had a really good album that like that black and green cover, I think it is.
Yeah.
So when I saw that you were on that, I was like, oh shit, this guy's like the real deal, son. Like, you know, like seeing you connected to people like that, you realize, okay, this guy is working at it.
What's funny is that we met him through Ache because Ache did an album with him. He's done songs with him, and then he did a whole album with him.
Right.
And I think that's the one that you're talking about.
Right. Yeah, this so jazzy thing, right? Like this a Tribe Called Quest type of vibe.
Yeah.
Type of hip hop. Yeah, this is dope.
So we met him through Ache. Who's the other producer? Jimmy on Jets, somebody we always go back to. He's local. We met him.
Local
talent.
Where?
Yeah, local talent. Like he's from around here.
Here, what do you mean by here? Where are you from?
Trent, New Jersey.
Jersey. All
right. He's probably one of the best in the area, honestly.
Right.
And he's like a hidden gem because he he's his own. He has his own, personality. So he don't fuck with a lot of people. So he's strictly like, So it's cool that he always takes time. Like we'll hit him up like, yo, da, and he'll show up to the studio and just spend mad time with us, and we'll make mad shit. So Jimmy on Jets, Rel Gambino is a rapper actually, but he's produced for us before. That's my homie. That's like my brother. I fuck with him. Ivan Barrias produced on Morir Soñando. That was different.
Okay,
that was
right. Yeah, that was a good track. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm asking because I think sometimes we hear it's a whole track. You pick any track, and it just sounds like people pay attention, right? That people put the work in. It wasn't like just scrappy beats or whatever. So I was always interested in trying to understand what the production was coming from.
The other, and then the last two people was me and Josue. We started producing. Not per se, like I can't play any instruments, right?
Right.
Like, so I feel bad saying that I'm a producer because I can't play shit, but I know what
Kanye can't play an instrument.
He play keys. He'll play keys, I think.
He'll play keys, okay.
Yeah, I think he plays some chords. He could play some chords. I can't.
Oh, you can't even do chords?
I can't even look. Nope.
Oh, you can't even pretend that you know.
Exactly. I just, not to like sound a certain way, but I know what sounds good. Like, I feel like I've listened to enough music to know where, this shit is right.
Right.
So, me and Josue started playing around with producing and shit. The first thing we produced was Quiero off of Teoria. We produced that one from scratch with Corey Half Black. He played the guitars and all that. So that's pretty much the group we always go back to. We're trying to branch out a little more now, but we just keep going back to producing ourselves now. Like we're producing a lot more now.
And where's Josue from?
Josue's Dominican. He's from Macorís.
And he lives in DR?
No, he lives here in Trenton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That brings me to another set of questions. Personally, and I think the audience would be interested in kind of understanding also kind of the inspiration of an artist, right? And I think to understand the inspiration of an artist, you have to kind of go back and see where they were kind of raised and their family and like their childhood influences. Mm-hmm. So for you, can you tell me a little bit about your background? Like, where were you born? Where were you raised? And then we'll dive into some of your musical influences.
Yeah, the born part was easy. I was born in Newark, New Jersey. The raised part is kind of hard because you know how it is. We jump around a lot. So it was Newark, Queens, fucking DR, fucking Trenton. I think we lived somewhere else too. I don't fucking know. Right. So raised all over the place, but mainly, if we're going down to it, it'd be Dominican Republic and Trenton, New Jersey.
Okay. And how often you go back to DR?
Recently I've been going like once a year. At least once a year. I think what was it, last year? Yeah, I went last year too.
So then you're moving around and stuff, growing up which as a kid, I mean, I don't know what your interpretation of that was, but sometimes it can be easy, right? The moving around, not
no, that shit sucks.
School, right?
We went from what I do remember is that we used to live in Queens, and then something happened work-wise. I guess my dad or my mom, something, and we ended up having to moving back to DR. My dad stayed. Right. My dad stayed, and then I think we stayed a year and a half. Calvin, nod yes or no. I can't. What was it? How long did we stay? Like a year, 2 years, almost 1 year, 1 year. So we lived there 1 year, and then my dad found a job here in Trenton, and then we all moved back.
Right. Mm-hmm. With a lot of, I mean, it's funny because it's not like all immigrants have this story, but something about the Dominican experience really resonates.
Yeah,
with this. It's going back and forth.
Yeah, for some reason it happened more than once. When shit gets bad, we'll just go back and like kind of like, if the family's together, at least in our case, it was that like my dad stayed, we went, and then it happened again, but this time it was different. In 2000, what was it? 2002, 2003. I'm really bad with fucking dates, by the way.
Right.
They were getting ready to buy a house, my family, so they sent me and my little brother back to DR for 2 years. So we stayed in DR an extra 2 years.
Yeah, as somebody that worked with like kids and education, sometimes you have these Dominican families sending their kids to DR in the middle of the school year for like 2 months, and you're like, what? Yeah,
that shit's weird. But no, we went for 2 whole years. We studied over there and everything.
Wow. So you're going, you're living in different places, and who are you listening to? At 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? Like those formative years, what kind of music you're listening to? How you getting your music and what you're listening?
The first time I cared about anything that was going on with music was when I went to DR for the second time, when I stayed for 2 years. My cousins were doing music already. One was in like a reggaeton group and doing their thing. KC. And Rafi.
KC was part of that?
Yeah, KC was the one. He was the one. He was rapping in the reggaeton group and shit. Okay. And I was like, oh shit, that's dope. I want to do something like that. And Rafi was doing. He's like close to my age, so that's somebody that and I would do music with him. But the first time I actually even cared about what was going on musically with any kind of music was my cousin. He had one CD, and it was a Juan Luis Guerra like compilation CD, and he kept playing this one track. What the fuck is it called? I'm not gonna remember the name of the song, but he was the one that was like, yo, listen to what he's saying, listen to the story that he's pointing out, like look what he's trying to do to get this girl or whatever. Right. And that's the first time I
know how to sing the song.
Fuck, what is it called? Nah, I'm keep thinking of the salsa, but it's not the salsa. It's the I have it
No,
on my
that's
phone.
no,
As I
no.
talk, I'll find it. I'll find
Right,
it.
right. No,
I
that's
know what it
fine.
was. But
So you're listening to you discovered this CD and then you just kind of mesmerized by the music by Juan Luis Guerra.
yeah, just the way that he put it together.
Right.
Yeah, just the way that he put it together, the way that the whole fucking band was flowing, like everything just sounded so perfect. And then what he was saying, just like, I don't know if maybe I wasn't introduced to enough rap in my time, that when I lived here, and I did elementary school here in Trenton for a little bit, and then we moved to DR. But I guess it was in the time, it was a weird, like the early 2000s, where, you know, the South music was popping and it was all this crazy shit. So I wasn't used to hearing lyrics like, or songs where people were just, it's the same topic and they just piece it together in a certain way where you're just like, oh shit, the fuck, you can do that?
Right.
So yeah, that was the first time I like was like, oh, people do this with they can music the shit out of music. So I was like, okay, I like that.
Right.
That
And then
caught
what
my
was
eye.
the first song you recorded? Like, what was the first time you went to a studio and you did a song?
Like an official studio?
Yeah, like you felt like you were the first time you felt like you were an artist. Like the first time you felt like, oh shit, like
The
I want
video
to be doing this.
that right there, the video that K-Rod's playing. It's Soy Yo. L'amor y Nota G. That's the first time I switched my name too. I had a different name before.
And what year is this? La Mole?
That's 2000. It says 2000.
Oh, 2015. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a little earlier.
Right.
It's way back, right, Calvin? Yeah. I think that's a repost or something. But it's way older than that. Might be 08, 09, 010 around there. I think 010 again.
What was it? What was this location here? What were you looking
This is in
at?
New York. This is the Bronx. This is where
In the Bronx?
KC's apartment.
Okay.
KC took us to OTL Studios, and that was the first official studio that I went and recorded at. God,
Wow.
that song is trash, by the way.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, that shit
It's
is
one
bad.
of those things you look back on and you're embarrassed for it.
I just laugh. I'm just cool with it because I luckily I already had changed my name. Like I had a really bad name. Like
What was your name? La Mole?
No.
What was your name?
That was Rafi's name. It's fucking La Muerte.
Damn, nigga.
I was
Okay,
obsessed with death, man. It's not my fault. I was obsessed with death.
Right. Well, I could tell. I could tell, right? Like your music tends to be on the morbid side, right? Which is great, right? Like I think we talked about last week, right? Like I'm the happiest when I'm listening to like Kid Cudi or some depressing emo kind of hip hop. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, I was obsessed with death. I had a just mad shit going on that I had to like, you know, lead into, and I was like, fuck, like this sucks.
Right.
So,
Well, I mean, you know, it's kind of like a sensitive topic because it has to do with your health. But I'm only bringing it up because you did bring it up in the WhatsApp chat. So you shared with us that you had some heart surgeries.
yeah.
And one thing I was interested in understanding is not so much on. It looks like you're better and stuff, and I hope that you're healthy.
I'm doing
but
good.
I'm interested in how a situation like that impacts your creativity and how you approach your music.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about just now. It's like we already, like I've always, like since I was little, they've always told me like, yo, you need to get surgeries. Like you need to get surgeries because the bigger my heart got, the worse the condition got.
Right.
So what I had
you want to explain real quick? Yeah, my bad. I just cut you off. Yeah, go ahead.
So what it is called transposition of the great arteries. So as your heart forms when you're like growing in the stomach, as your heart forms, it does a bunch of flips. So that flips and turns pretty much. So it gets into its final position. Mine didn't do the last switch. I don't know if it's the last one or the one before. So what happened is that the two valves that pump blood, you know, they open and close. You have two valves. One's bigger than the other, always in normal hearts. So what happens is that when you switch it, the small one's doing the job of the big one, and the big one's doing the job of the small one. So one of them wouldn't even close completely. So I wasn't even getting blood in the majority of my body when I was born, because my heart was pumping perfectly fine, but it was that issue that I wouldn't get the right amount of blood to the spot that I needed it. So
then what had to be done? Yeah,
they corrected it. They gave me a murmur in one of the arteries so that some of the blood can when it pumped, it would like transfer over to the other one. They did some weird shit like that. So I had a murmur on top of that. So
and is this before La Muerte or after La Muerte?
This is when I was born, man. I've had this since I was born. Yeah.
Wow.
So the issue is that
you there with us, you were older though, right? There was a
yeah. So I got my surgeries when I was 21. Because the issue is that pretty much what they said is as you grow, your heart gets bigger. Obviously, I think it stops growing at 25 or some shit. I might be wrong. I don't know. But they wanted it for it to, I think it's 21. They wanted it for it to stop growing before they did anything, because any fixes that they make, they're putting in a brand new valve. They're replacing the valve that doesn't close completely, and then they had to replace it. So they had to wait till the heart stopped growing. So 21 was when I got my surgeries, but I lived with that my whole life. I couldn't. Right. I was all fucked up. But just imagine having to know that one day you're gonna have to have doctors poke around in your heart, and that you might not come out of that, like you might not wake up out of that, was just something that kind of fucking stuck with me since I was little. So I've always been like, fuck it, if I gotta go, I gotta go. Like it is what it is. So I got used to that idea. I even embraced it in my rap name. That's why I was called La Muerte, because I was just like, fuck it. Why not?
And who told you that was a bad name?
When I try to make a love song.
So La Muerte is on with like I love you baby, and it just wasn't gonna work out like that.
That's not flying at all. That shit is not. You can't kick no shit to no women like that. Like what the fuck? So yeah, that was out of the window.
Right. So I got similar questions about being kind of like self-reflective, right? And like looking at what you have to offer. One thing I'm interested in knowing is what's your, I don't want to say weakness, right? But what's your area of improvement, right? Like what area of the music you feel like you need to still work on?
Damn. That's kind of a hard one.
Oh, my
'Cause
bad,
I don't really know until I know. Like I don't know until I'm there. Because some songs write themselves. Sometimes I'll sit down and write that shit in like 5 minutes, and then sometimes is like 2-3 week long process where I'll just I do this a lot where I just drive with nothing playing on the radio, and the sound of the road I guess is just the it's like background noise. And then I'll just sit there and just say shit until I'm like, oh, fuck, this works. And then I'll write one piece, and then I'll write another piece. So if I'm going to say I need improvement on, I don't really know, because I'm not really trying to be like anyone else. Like I don't rap about street shit, so like punchlines isn't something that I focus on. You know what I mean? But you know what? Actually, if I had to fix anything, I'd want to get better vocally. I'd want to, as a singer, yeah, or even as a rapper, just have my voice, be a little more consistent. Because sometimes there's songs where I'm just like, this is not the way that I want it to sound. It takes me lots of tries.
Is there anything that you do like how do you practice that? Is there any way that, I mean, the first time you're singing is when you're singing the song, or is there times where you're actually just practicing certain things? Like in basketball, right? Like I'm just gonna shoot with one hand, right? Breaking your jump shot into little pieces, and then it comes together at the end. Does this work similar, or it has to kind of be happening for you to put it all together?
What are you talking about, like writing wise, or?
Yeah, like writing or like maybe you spend the time just singing, right? Practicing your singing. So when it's time to sing, you've been practicing your singing.
With the singing stuff, that's more recent. I mean, I've done a little bit of singing stuff, but it was more like like little moany kind of tunes. With singing, yeah, I do practice. I play. So I've found out that my voice doesn't go with certain keys. Period. Like I've tried it, and this is something that I learned recently. I'm not a musician, so I don't know like all it is like about the keys or whatever. But I do know that I sing some songs way better than I sing other songs, like other people's songs that I really like. So, for example, what I did with Nudo was that I produced a beat for Nudo, and I had wrote it to another beat, Nudo. But the
Okay.
problem was I didn't like how I sounded on that beat. That and then the fucking producer wouldn't hit me back so I could buy it, which actually turned out to be a blessing.
Right. Okay.
Um,
So you make the song and then you listen to it for a while before you like the song is somewhat completed altogether.
it always comes in pieces for me, at least. It's always a process of I have to sit down and write, or like I said about the car, like I'll be driving and then something hits me, or like a little melody in my head, or just a word pattern that's like has like a little something to it, and I'll just write it down. And then when I sit down, I'll scroll through a shitload of beats. Even though I know I'm not gonna use those beats, I just use it as background noise to write to, and then I'll piece it together. And usually the way that I write is that uh I'm like, remember how I told you about the Juan Luis Guerra thing where he pieced everything like one thing. Like if you go and listen to something, every single thing that I say has to do with something that I said right before. And it just kind of I've written like that for a while now. That's something that I do. So
Right. Right. That's like the style that
but
you have there.
yeah, but yeah, the singing I practice a lot because I don't feel like I'm the best, but I've been finding where I sound good, and that's just you got to know things about yourself when you're gonna make stuff. Like I don't want to put out anything that sounds like shit, so I'm gonna go and look into it.
Did you have any mentors that help you? Do you have anybody that you go to? Somebody that's older, more experienced, or anything?
Nah, not really, not
So,
really.
you,
Me and
a lot of this learning is on your own. I mean, you're like a self-taught artist.
yeah, I would say so. Yeah, it's been a lot of years, man. A lot of years of practice. Um, I mean, the only other person I would say is Josue, but we kind of bounce off each other. Me and Josue, like the amount of songs that we've written, we have like at least 20 songs just sitting in the tuck now. But it's
That
like,
right, that just waiting to come out. If they don't come out at all.
nah, just sitting there. They might come out or they might just they just don't hit the vibe that we're looking for at the moment, or like we even have a pop track. Like we made a pop track just because we could. He produced it, I wrote it, and it was like, oh, we have this. I don't know if we want to put it out, but yeah.
So, stepping away a little bit, I want to get your views about kind of like the state of today's music and how do you see kind of music evolving?
Mm-hmm.
You want to speak on that? Like, what are you listening to, and within the genre that you're interested in, how do you see music evolve in the last few years and the state of it today?
A lot,
Actually, I'll
man.
ask you that in pieces. What is it that you're
Yeah.
listening to? What is it that you're listening to in
So
terms of other artists?
I'm a old soul. I always go back to the oldies. I've listened to maybe every single Honey Get album. Uh,
Okay.
right now I'm really stuck on really stuck on salsa for some reason. It just
What
keeps
what what era? Like all of it or a particular era?
70s, 80s. 70s, 80s salsa. And I don't know why. It's just something that's like when I'm doing stuff, like it's just like, yo, I want to sing this. I want to sing this song. I feel like singing this song. So, and that's actually what I used to practice. I use a lot of salsa to practice. I don't use Juan Luis just because we're not in the same key.
Yeah, that's
so it sounds like shit singing them, but
right.
there's a lot of salsa songs in that key that's just like, oh fuck, I could sing the shit out of this, and I just practice with that. But I think that's maybe why I keep going back to salsa right now.
And I don't have any artistic ability or music abilities, so it's hard for me to even understand or even imagine.
Think about it like this:
Juan Luis salsa is impacting you musically, right? Because it just sounds. It's not like Juan Luis as a rapper, So I'm like, how the hell?
It could have been.
What is that you're getting from him? I'm sure, But for the outside world, like regular folks, it's hard to be like, oh damn, how does that influence him?
Because
it sounds so different.
It's all rap. At least when it comes to lyrics, it's all rap. Like Juan Luis Guerra said in Niagara en Bicicleta, he said something that's not something that will blow your fucking mind. Like at least it did for me. He said something about that he got to the hospital and he said, parece un hospital de gente, supuestamente, right? O decía que supuestamente, y la enfermera vino y le dijo, she didn't even ask him his name, right? And she called him Bobby. What do Dominicans call all dogs?
Bobby.
After I heard that, I was like, holy fucking shit. Let me find, if he's doing this everywhere, let me go find it and hear how he's putting this together. So, I don't know. Yeah. So it's just those little things that I hear it and I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck?
No, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I think that's why it's hard to pinpoint you to a particular sound, right? Because you're being inspired by something that sounds so different from you, at least to the outside world,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great, man.
I like it, man. It's like my bad. It's like I told Randy. He was asking me what inspired it, and I was like, Mad Blunts and Anthony Santos for fucking Nudo.
Right. Right.
I just had to. I was like, yeah, I need one of those.
It's a bachata.
Yeah.
It's a bachata. Is anybody in your crew really like moving on, being successful? I'm trying to get an understanding of, who's within your crew, who's moving up, who's making some advances and stuff, who's inspiring and who is, or are you pretty much isolated? I mean, I know it's COVID season, so it kind of isolates us already. Mm-hmm. But is there people in your crew who are making moves the way that you are as well? I mean, I know you mentioned Josue and them.
I mean, Josue just released a new video.
Oh, okay.
It's called Rosa.
And
that shit is fire.
Okay.
That fucking video is nuts. But definitely Raph, my cousin. He's fucking making connections left and right. He's putting out the music. He's got an EP and it coming out in February. I don't know when. I think he wants to drop it on Valentine's Day. And the thing I like about him is that he listens. And I mean, for the most part, like I already did 10 years of this shit, so I'm just giving him pointers here and there, like yo, but like I haven't had to tell him how to make these connections. He's gone out and done all that shit. This dude is, so I feel like he's moving really well. Josue is a fucking walking fucking contact book. This dude knows everybody, has talked to everybody.
Wow.
He has all the connections in the world. So Josue's always moving. Let's see who else. Rapper wise, Rel. Musically, he's fucking evolving. I feel like I think we all took 2020 to really sit down and evolve. I don't think any of us really dropped that much music. But now for 2021, we have goals set. Like 2020 was a fucking eye opener.
Right. So I mean that brings me to a question that I had. Trying to understand how this COVID pandemic has impacted your creativity, your songwriting. You want to speak on that? We've been almost a year pretty much on lockdown, and I think we get stories of it kind of shutting certain people out. But how has it impacted your creativity?
I feel like it was great because it's the first time. It's the first time I felt that I can make anything, like not stick to that one genre, where I can just go out and branch out and do whatever the fuck I want. And I don't know where that came from. It started sometime right after COVID started. We lost a show. We were leaving. We were going to go to Guatemala and do a show. And after that, I was like, fuck, there's no more shows. Usually, for us, it's always been that we get or gain our fans through shows.
Right.
Like always. That's how it's been. Since it's not like super popular music, it's hard. People listen to it and until they see it live, they're like, oh shit, okay. So shows was the way that we were getting people to see us and even fucking care about looking for us. But COVID was like, yeah, you got to figure this shit out because that shit's not going to fly anymore. So we were like, oh, we can make more popular music. We just got to do it our own way. We can't lose ourselves to make that kind of music. So we just started experimenting, and that's kind of how we're at now.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a blessing in the sky for certain people. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's great.
I still wanted to do that fucking show, man. That was
I'm
the
sure.
First,
So would have been your first show?
No. We've done a bunch of shows. We did a show. It would have been our first show in Guatemala internationally. I mean,
that's dope.
We did a show with Acento in DR in La Capital.
Right.
We did a show.
How is that? How is that experience of getting on stage and performing?
It was dope. The band fucked up.
Damn.
Like bad, bro. Oh my god, bro. But me and Josue, like we've been through it. So we kind of knew what was going on. They were bombing, bro. They were bombing so
and then
bad.
You didn't have like a backtrack, like the DJ just playing the music?
That shit was a fucking clusterfuck. So I looked at Josue and I gave him that face like, bro, we're here. And I don't give a fuck if we have to acapella this shit all night, but we're fucking here and we're gonna do this shit. And like without saying a word, we both looked at each other and we just kind of like shrugged, took a sip, and was like, all right, let's do this shit. Let's get people involved, because if not, they're gonna be like, what the fuck did we just watch?
And how did it go? How did it end?
It ended great. We just started getting people to chant shit. So we just
started hyping people up.
Yeah, because musically we couldn't do it. These guys, and it was fucked up because I liked them. But man, dude, I don't know what happened. We did 3 rehearsals and the shit was fucking amazing. And we get on stage and they forgot every single song.
Damn.
How it started, how it goes in the middle, where the hooks go, everything. So that was a clusterfuck, but we managed somehow to save it. We just started chanting the name of the show and like trying to get them hyped, because we were opening. Right. We were opening, so we were just like, yo, yeah, get ready for that, yo, and everybody was going nuts. And you know, it's DR, so everybody's fucked up. Brugal sponsored the event, so people was fucked up. So once we got on that groove, it was like, all right, we had everybody, you know, in their shit, and that shit was dope. It was a dope experience. I wish we would have brought our band from here, though, the people that we fuck with from here.
Yeah, I mean, that's dope. I mean, you go up there with a band, right? I mean, yeah. I'm sure that sounds amazing.
Yeah,
I would have guessed you going up there with like a DJ, right, like a backtrack, and just rapping out there. But going up there with a band must be a great experience for the audience as well.
That and the fucking energy is nuts, bro. Because I could just we've gotten to the point where I just be like looking at the drummer, like he knows what's about to go down.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a different. We
about
experience.
To hit this crazy shit, and everybody about to go crazy. So it's just, I feel like it's playing with a band is just better. I like having more people up there.
No.
It's also because I'm shy, but
you don't want to be there by yourself. That helps with having a crew.
Yeah, definitely.
So the last question, man.
No.
You're stranded on an island, right? Just like Castaway.
Okay.
Whose catalog do you want to stay stranded with? Not an album, but whose catalog? What artist?
Entire catalog?
Yeah.
Three of them.
Three of them.
I have to pick 3?
Yeah, three artist catalogs that you like to be stranded with.
Juan Luis Guerra. That's like the one. That's the one for
That's
sure.
it.
Like, no, not that's it. Not that's it. But that's the one that I knew off the bat. Damn, that's a fucking hard question, bro.
Remember, you're on an island, so you gotta have a little bit of everything.
I'm gonna go Kendrick Lamar. I'm gonna go Kendrick Lamar. Whose other music have I been listening to like crazy? Let me see. Hold up. I look at my Spotify. Let me look at this shit that I would need on the island.
So you got your Spanish music.
I got my Spanish music. Yeah, because he makes everything. I got Kendrick.
He makes everything. You got Kendrick.
Damn.
You're gonna have to pick one of those salsa ones, no?
I was thinking that, right? But then I passed Jose, and I'm like, oh, there's a whole nother group of people.
There you go.
Because Juan Luis Guerra made some banging salsa, so I can. You know, they're not the best, but
you get your salsa fix with.
Yeah, I get my salsa fix with him. So damn. Let's see who else I got on here. Ooh, I got the Marco Antonio Solis.
Oh, okay.
Mad random, but yeah.
No, I like it. I mean, it surprises me. I mean, that's why I wanted to do this interview, man. I wouldn't have guessed that that's your inspiration, right? That the Spanish music, it's what's doing it, right? Even with your music being Spanish, I would have thought you had some hip hop in there, but it looks like you're all in with Juan Luis Guerra and all these other singers. You want to know mine? You want to know mine?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, what's yours?
I go with the Beatles, Selena, and Nota G.
Oh shit! Oh shit! I made it.
So that's it, man. I like to thank you for taking the time to sit down with me and just
thank you for
man.
fucking even spending time on it, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It's a blessing, man. Thank you so much for doing what you do. So the audience, man, check out Nudo, his single, on all digital platforms. And we're gonna play right after this interview. So stay tuned. Thank you. Have a good night.
Oh, shout out Vianney. Hey, se ve que yo te gusto, lo sé. Quiero secarme y no puedo, un nudo en la garganta, porque intento de hablarte y me enredo, mano en la volanta también. Que juntos viajaremos rumbo sin destino. Ay, mamita, primera vez que yo te conocí. Ay, maldita, la hora en que tuvimos que partir. Yo no sé ni cómo fue tenerte al lado y no poder comunicar. Me tienes mal, buscando duro y no encontrar valor para decirte que lo que escuchar tu voz para entender lo que tu alma le gusta.
El más berraco.
I know what you're thinking. Where can I find more? For full episodes of the Ruckus Podcast, you can check us out on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and your other digital streaming services. The Ruckus, it's organized chaos. Don't worry, we're working on getting Mike a better mic. Get it, Mike? And don't worry about it. You'll get it eventually.